I have 100 days to survive in Ark Ascended's most brutal mod pack. Now this is a combination of a couple of different mods from Ark Evolved, which is still the GOAT in my opinion. It's basically Primal Fear and has that tier based system. So to get the really cool dinos that do the little explodey things like this, you gotta tame these little things over here that are like heat-seeking missiles once they lock onto your cheeks. Now, let's get into the customization, which is insanely different and way more in depth. It took me some time to figure out the settings that work for me, so it does get better visually. Just remember to join the Discord for updates on videos and servers. Do me a favor and like and subscribe. That helps me out a lot. Also drop a comment in the video telling me what you think of ASA and if you're excited with Ark 2 if it ever comes out.
Are you the one I've been waiting for? You might be. I hope so. It's been so many cycles since I was her. Do I even still remember hope? I wasn't sure you'd ever turn up. The odds just kept getting longer. I guess I've been losing faith, while they've been gaining power. You have to reach me. Everything depends on your survival. Master this world. Make allies of its many creatures. Grow your strength and skill. Explore this place like I did so long ago. Put the pieces together and find me, survivor. You may be the only one who can.
If my character had a fade, he looked just like me because we both built different, no cap. Now these graphics were insane, but my PC was having a stroke with the settings while recording. So I had to fiddle around with them till I was able to run it smoothly. Once I got it running smoothly, it was time to start my journey. Felt like Finn on my adventure time, so I collected some stones, wood, and thatch, made a pickaxe, then went through the beginner engrams. After unlocking all these new and cool looking things, I completely wrecked a rock. Made a hatchet, but I was feeling a bit peckish, so after I ate some berries. Can't believe they added all new berries to this. Hopefully they aren't the same type of berries, just retextured. Spoiler alert, they were. A dillo snuck up on me, so I made a bola, tied his feet and beat it to steal its hide. It had this icon on it, so I thought there was another nearby as a mate boost, but it just ended up being a baby dillo, which I imprinted and stole. I honestly feel bad because that was just a mama trying to protect its cubs, and here I am wailing on it to steal its hide. Honestly, no clue what settings I messed up, but literally once I was done typing my notes, it was fully grown. Bola the Moshaft and sick my dillo on it. The icon was above it, so I assumed it was another baby, but I just couldn't find it anywhere. On day 2, I saw this dope looking Moshaft, and it had this holographic texture. It looks amazing, so I shoved some berries up its butt and tamed it. It has a shiny icon above it, so I guess it's a shiny Moshaft. Then went resource gathering for a bit, but honestly looks super weird. Maybe I'm just not used to the look of this game, or it was the change in settings, but damn, it kept messing with my eyes. I also started to notice that creatures were highlighted in red. I think this Moshaft has a special ability that is able to detect creatures and outline them. Was super helpful and allowed me to stay alive. The only thing is this game is literally running at like 14 FPS, and that's probably why it was looking so weird. I then died to a mythic Jerboa because I creeped up on it and had to say RIP to my hologram Moshaft and Dillo. Easy come, easy go, I guess. Managed to at least grab the berries it was carrying, made a reusable trank spear, and again fiddled with my settings. Had finally gotten in the 30 range, but died to an alpha dodo when I came back. Got my stuff back, then died to a shadow turkey. To be honest, I'm really not a fan of the dulled down graphics. It's giving me a headache, so I browsed mods to see if there's any for fixed optimization, and there was none, so I just had to get used to it. I went around killing, then found a beta Trudon that I bolaed and killed for its hide. Made some beta hide armor, then died to an alpha dodo. Just unlucky. Lured the many alpha dodos away from my body, then went to recapture me loot. Found my loot only to die to the same red alpha dodo that has killed me like 11 times. These dodos are heat-seeking missiles. They would spot me from miles away and chase me till I died. After the 25th death, I got my stuff. Come on, man. 25 deaths on day 2 with no way to track which bag it was that had my many things. So literally, base filled with so many bags on the floor and so many creatures waiting to chomp my cheeks. Just glad I managed to get it. Finally put on the armor I crafted and continued my journey. Made a small starter base, a refining forge, then went metal farming for a smithy. While smelting metal, an alpha dodo came and attacked my base. It was finally time for revenge. Tied the dodo's shoelaces together and speared him in the face. Payback. I will forever hunt every dodo I see. Made the primal smithy by accident, so I had to destroy it for the little bit of metal back and had to repeat the process till I could get a metal pickaxe. Once I got it, metal became super easy to snatch. To start off the day, I hunted some dodos. This is revenge from my beach bob days. Then found some vanilla ones hanging around and tamed them for an egg farm. If this is anything like Primal Fear, I'm gonna need these two to start getting busy for some eggs. Made some arrows, then some tranks, and looked over the engrams again while they crafted. Killed a shiny dillo called Hefty Goth and got a bunch of kibble from it. Plus 12 levels. Sheesh. I was now high enough to get a PT saddle. So with my newly crafted arrows, I went hunting. Found a 130 PT almost immediately and knocked it out. Gave it all the kibble I had on me because I had no idea which one it took. Then waited. While waiting, I had this crazy thought. The bosses in this game require more than one dino to take on. The abilities they have will also be flashy, so I'm probably never going to be able to take on without crashing. I even complained in Discord about that. Built up a farm so that I can make rock carrot, which is needed to move up the tiers. Had tamed my PT but didn't have the resources to craft its saddle, so I went hide hunting. On my journey, 2 poor lost baby dinos had joined my army. Made a Phiomia saddle and went resource grinding as well. Well, I mean, at least I tried to before I realized that the Phiomia doesn't gather berries. Made some beta metal, which is a combination of beta blood and regular metal. With it, it can make a better pickaxe and axe, which harvest twice as much materials. It made getting resources for the saddle a lot easier. The only thing, just finding turtles were hard. On day 5, I tamed a parasaur, then died to a demonic dello. Had to literally wait it out so I can get my things, then I found a setting that actually worked for me. The game doesn't look terrible and it runs smoothly. Made some toxic kibble and went looking for turtles and beta dodos. Found a matching pair of dodos quickly and went back to base to mate them. Turned a tribulate into a porcupine and got enough chitin to make a PT saddle. Now that I had one, I can finally fly through the sky to look for resources. But I had no clue what metal rock looked like. So I had to kiss a few toads till I found my metal prince. It's a lighter texture with silver veins across it. Now that I know what it looks like, I spent some time finding a cluster of it. Then went looking for crystal. I happened to find a cave which refused to fully load in, so you get this cool looking cannon look right underneath your feet. I explored it a bit, found crystal, but then died to an overzealous spider. Luckily for me, there was a natural spawn point right next to the cave entrance. Got my stuff back, snagged the dung beetle while I was at it, and then headed back to base. After getting everything squared away, I unlocked some engrams. I also made a spyglass. I'm like level 90 at this point, but still at beta. So I made an egg collector, integrated my female dodos, and made some more crop plots. I waited the whole day, but no eggs were in the collector. I probably have to up the settings on it for it to be useful. Made some alpha gear and swapped out my beta stuff. Now just had to wait for my crop plots to bear me some fruit. Went berry gathering to make a trank spear as well. And to test it out, I ran up to a Bronto and speared him. Literally only took one shot before he asked me to shove berries up his butt. Then I made a saddle for him and used it to gather berries more efficiently. If a times 50 spear can knock out a Bronto in one hit, I wonder what a 500 times spear can do. The egg collector was still not producing anything, so I looked up why. I couldn't find anything, so I was heavily disappointed. I got some berries with the Bronto, made the 100 times spear. Then I idled for a bit, just hoping that some eggs would generate. On day 11, I finally generated 1 egg, but that would mean by day 100, I would only have about 30. So I upped the speed because 3 days for 1 egg is insane. After waiting a whole day, nothing happened. Made 2 alpha kibbles and I'll just tame more than 1 female since I don't need a pair. Hopefully this allows me to get eggs more quickly. Using the 100 times spear, I knocked out an alpha and legendary trike with 1 hit. This pike is OP. I might have to lock it behind a vault. I tamed up the alpha trike and integrated her with the egg collector. Then I idled while waiting to get spoiled meat. And again, still no eggs. Now this thing is definitely broken. I've already invested a bunch of resources into this and all my egg laying dinos, so I'm gonna figure out how to fix it. I decided to tame an Oviraptor and some more dodos to see how quickly I can get them to make eggs compared to the egg collector. And nothing after a whole day. So I messed around with the world settings. Maybe I'm reading it wrong because I put it to 100 just to test if I was. And nope, lay egg interval, if set at high numbers, it reduces time between egg spawns. Now I tried it the other way just in case, just to see if that does the trick, because I know I'm not crazy. It reads higher numbers reduce time between egg spawns. But arc is arc, so maybe backwards is correct. And bruh, lowering it worked. I mean, it makes no sense, but whatever. I can finally make progress in the mod. Made some elemental kibble and went out looking for some dinos to shove it up their butt. Now I saw a volcanic spino and I figured I tried my luck. One tapped it with this OP spear. I'm probably going to need to vault this, so I'm not going to use it unless of emergencies, because it's not even a challenge, honestly. I mean, I guess I can use it if it's not an important tame to make my progress. For example, this snail getting poked. Now I tried feeding it alpha kibble, but it only wants vegetable cakes despite it being an alpha snail. So goodbye snail. Found the volcanic piranha, but it wouldn't go into the egg collector, so went around looking for an elemental egg layer. Now I found a hydro turtle and it ended up drowning me on land. Jokes on it though, I done shot her full of tranks. Just had to get back to the location to grab my PT and turtle and my stuff. Got my things and let the turtle back to base, added her to the egg collector and waited for more eggs. Made a long neck rifle and some tranks, then took my volcanic piranha to test her out. Killed some elemental creatures, 2 sharks and a turtle, but for some reason it dropped beta hide and blood. Killed my piranha to see if I can get some hide from it, but just fish meat. I think the ocean creatures might be a little bit broken. It also breaks my game and makes me run at like 12 FPS, so yeah, I'm gonna try and avoid being in water. I really needed a killing creature, so this spino needs to get saddled as quickly as possible. I went looking for volcanic creatures for their hide. Now I'm chilling in air, scoping my next victim out, but out of nowhere I'm attacked. This bug-like creature starts coming after me. It's too fast to outrun, but I try anyway. I get some distance, but then out of nowhere, I see a bullet whiz past me. This man is running a dry biome. I look behind me and see more bullets coming my way. Now, I had enough distance to dodge, so I did. Each time he shoots, I slightly move my path and lead it back to base, because I want this thing. I hop off my PT and use it as a bait. Shoot it with all my tranks, and just one arrow puts it down. It's literally twitching in the water. I run back to base to make some beta kibble, but I can't access its inventory. This is bull. So I just look at it for a while before I end its existence. Now after I killed it, I found something in its inventory, and it's telling me to feed it to a tame to attract other ones. I'm not going to do anything just yet, because after I looked it up, it said feed it to a big tame. Now I still need my Bronto right now for resource gathering. If I really want a strong version, I'll probably need a really strong Bronto to tank the damage. Since I lost my PT, I tamed another one so I can travel around, but I abandoned it because of its really trash stamina. Then died while falling off a cliff. Man, karma really strikes back hard. Got my stuff, but ran into a bee, and I could really use some fresh honey. So I followed it for half a day, getting swarmed by its minions till I finally tame it. You have to run up to it and just look down and just jam some food in its butt before it likes you. Now I got the beehive, and now I just need rare flowers. If I remember correctly, fairies or moss chops are my best bet when it comes to that. Found one hanging around, so I knocked it out and tamed it. Then I accidentally knocked it out again and it started to drown. So I just cut my losses and went after another one. Killed a beaver who had 3 babies following me. I honestly didn't know that was a thing. I thought 1 baby per dino, but this had triplets. If I had known, I would have let it live. I'm not that evil. Gathered some flowers till a broodmother walked up on me and I hit it the skates. Once I got back, I looked at the next tier. I need all different elemental eggs, so the hydro turtle isn't enough, and I need elemental seeds. Now I have no clue how to get them, but I think it has to do with the bosses or killing an elemental, because I've only done it in the water and I think water creatures are still broken. I tamed the hydro otter just to move around easier and hopefully kill some creatures. Now I killed a couple of elemental creatures but no fruit seeds, so I'm guessing it's from a boss. I really liked the otter, and it even had an ability that offered up a rock. Now I was going to keep it till I accidentally attacked a legendary Dillo and got one shot. I grabbed this death essence, which means that there's a potential to revive it at some altar. Tamed another PT and went looking for more elementals. Now I found 2 aloes deep into the map. Unfortunately I died, so I had to make the long journey back. Then I died again, and that was it. I needed a teleporter so I could just retrieve my stuff. Now I killed some Hesperornis for organic poly and went back to base to craft it. Got all my things back. But man, this is a lot harder than I remember. I don't remember Primal Fear being this hard. Made a TP remote and now I have access to everywhere. I TP to Blue Ob and I'm swarmed by dinos. Went back again and yeah, silly decision. Ran around on foot and saw a Hydro boss just chilling. 1 million health. Not bad. I do think I can take it on, but I have no dino, so I'm gonna mark its location and come back. Spent literally days searching for elementals and came up with nothing. Then I died to a terror bird and just called it quits for the night. Found a volcanic raptor while exploring the jungle. I did end up stabbing it as a quick reaction, but I'm not gonna take it. Then I died to a mythic frog. When I respawned, I saw a beta spinal near base and shot some arrows into its face. I actually had beta hide so I can make a saddle and finally have a land mount. Just need silica pearls. Lucky for me, there are trilobites near base. So killed one and made the saddle. Now I'm going to stick towards the edges of the beach because those are the safer areas that I know I can attack. But for those of you that know me, no, I don't take my own warning. So I ignored that and went into the middle of the redwoods and died trying to kill a fire wreck. At least my beta is still alive, since I was just trying to cheese kill it by knocking it out and then having my spinal do the rest. On my way back, I got attacked by an electric thylo. Quick thinking saved my life. I grappled to a tree and just went up. I wanted to knock it out, but I had no alpha arrows on me. I do have regular, so I tried to get it with those. Now I hung from the tree and shot at it, but it kept running away, so I just let it go and just went to kill the Rex for the hide. Found a mountain with tons of resources including obsidian, which is something I desperately needed. Killed a dodo wyvern and headed back to base because my spinal was about to die. Tamed an alpha PT so I could easily travel around. Made a saddle, then went on my adventure. Found a bronzo, knocked it out to be my big bug tempter. Then made some trank arrows. Now I found an island filled with flyers and saw an electric RG and griffin. Knocked and tamed the RG, but the griffin was eating these tranks. So I tried to hit and run it, but it killed me. So I decided it's time for a trap. Got it trapped, but died, so I flew back just hoping it didn't escape. Well, it did, so I had to do it again. This time, it went a lot smoother. Then I just shot him full of tranks and named him Zeus. Found another one who was female, lower leveled, but I repeated the process and will be using her for breeding. I also managed to kill a volcanic dragon, which I'm not gonna lie, almost killed Zeus. So I was praying and hoping the fire damage didn't take my boy's life. I was lucky he survived with a sliver of health. I had enough for a volcanic spinal saddle and still could breed my electric griffins. Everything is coming up for me. Made a nanny, then went hunting for silica pearls for the saddle. Found one silica pearl node and they are almost impossible to see. If I didn't pull up the resource map, I'd never have found it. Made the saddle, then a preserving bin. Now my base was getting attacked by a mythic PT which almost killed my griffins. Luckily, they managed to kill it before they died. But they're low on health, so maybe it's time I look for ways to heal. To make the heal potions, I need medical prude, and I don't know how to make those. So I went looking for tames and finally found a volcanic egg layer, tamed up the raptor, and integrated with the collector. On day 26, there were 2 mythic trikes I took on. They almost killed me, but I managed to deal damage by backing up and attacking, then taking a potion to finish off the last one. Then spent the whole day just killing things. And I mean, this guy is great, worth the effort. Now I'm drowning in hide and blood, but I really need to be drowning in metal, so I make a mythic pickaxe and visit the many resource spots I've mapped. Also, I got a pretty good crossbow and some EXP potions from all the mythics I killed. Spent the next day just looking for the big bug. I found one, got it low, had my pheromones on, but it did not want to impregnate me. Just hurry up and give me your seed. After some time, I accidentally killed it. I guess it did give me its seed, just not in the way I wanted, because I dropped pheromone. Now, I lost my alpha PT to a fairy wyvern, and the same thing almost happened to my spinal, but luckily I was able to use a potion to kill it. Then tragedy struck. I lost my PT, my volcanic spinal, and my alpha bronzo from one attack of a demonic gorilla. I also realized I wasn't recording, which really sucks because I ran out of disk space, no clue where my footage stops, so have fun editing this, future me. Now, made some mythic gear and went resource gathering. Realized while gathering the mythic armor that it actually has a bonus ability. Increase crafting, weight, stamina, and reduce fall damage. Made a dino storage remote, spent the rest of the night mining for metal. I also went back to get my spinal saddle because that was expensive. Now I need a way to get silica pearls. So I tamed a jellyfish for protection while I searched the floor for some pearls. The pearls take forever to gather by hand and I drown too easily. I only managed to get 75 pearls, but for now, that will have to do. Made a generator, then went out looking for organic polymer. I wanted to hunt penguins, but when I got to the winter biome, I saw some oil rocks and silica pearls chilling on the surface, and I didn't find many penguins. After gathering all those resources, I made some mythic tranks. I just wish I had a stronger long neck. and some arrows. Then went out searching for a strong Rex to hopefully take on the Hydra boss. Tamed some resource mounts, found a treasure map as well. It says it will ping a location and I'll have to dig, but how do you dig? I looked for a shuffle and I guess it's DLC lock, so I ignored it. Tamed the Rex, some volcanic creatures like death worms and a dragon. I tried looking for a breeding pair of Rexes, but I just could not find one for the life of me. So I was gonna have to take on the boss with what I had. Made saddles for all my tames, but for some reason I couldn't saddle the death worms or griffin. I guess they allow you to make it, but saddling them hasn't been implemented yet. Then went to look for the boss. Threw out my Rex and 2 death worms, but holy crap, it makes no sense. It easily killed my tames. I managed to get one alive with a potion and even tried to bite at it, but its health wouldn't go down. It was literally at 1 million no matter the damage I did. So I ran. Honestly, the outside of my boss fight, this alpha death form is so OP. The attack range is huge, it does 7k damage, my new damage dealer for sure. I tried for the boss again and managed to knock it off its health by constantly healing the damage dealt. I could actually fight it. The only downside is I had to wait a whole minute for the potion to reset. So I went back to base to make different kinds of potions to see if I could heal myself while rotating. Took some time because making stuff through the cooking pot takes ages. Then went back to the boss and my potion idea did not work. So I just powered through with the purple ones and took down its health little by little. That was until I had the brilliant idea of putting the dragon on my shoulder while my alpha death form tanked the hits. It went beautiful. Literally killed it with ease and got a saddle, fruits, and seeds. Made an industrial forge and tamed another otter for pearls. Now I made a scuba tank and went out on the otter to collect pearls. I thought otters auto collected, but I was wrong. So I had to use my hand, which is again OD annoying because you have to literally harvest everything else around it first before you get the pearl. Whoever told me otters collected and got me to believe it, shame on you. Oh, that's right, it was the dossier. But I guess it was wrong. Built some crop plots and planted my boss seeds in them, then made the summoner for the next boss. Found a nice area, got my dragon on my shoulder, and summoned in the volcanic one. Of course, while I was preparing for the fight, I got killed off my dino by a demonic dillo. Not only did I lose my death worm, but I also lost my dragon. So I summoned in the boss for no reason. Hopefully there is no timer on it. I also need to re-up my arsenal again. So here comes the very slow process of making tranks and going out to find more damage dealers. While searching, I did find another volcanic boss in the winter biome. It looks like I didn't need to craft them. I wondered if I killed one, could I saddle the other since they drop saddles on death. Now I tamed a mating pair of death worms, but I spent the whole day looking for a dragon and alpha death worm. It came up empty-handed. Also, I got a sneak peek of the electric guardian boss and it's a dope looking enforcer. Then tamed a max level griffin, so I'll be swapping her in to mate with Zeus and killing the current stock of babies. Tamed another dragon using my pokey stick, went back to base to let the death worms breed, but turns out you can't breathe them, which kind of sucked. Went back to take on the boss, but the same demonic dillo that ended my career killed it. So I went to the other one I saw. Got him decently low, but my dino was just not a heavy hitter. So I ran once my potion was up. The only thing is I crashed mid-run and was just about to die. So something tells me when I sign back on, my creature won't be alive. But when I actually got back on, I was on my griffin. So I guess there was a rollback, which is kind of lucky for me. Went after the boss again. This time he was not happy. It was already damaged from the dillo, but it still wiped the floor with me. Man, I'm really missing the alpha death one. Then I crashed again, and I don't know why this keeps happening. I deactivated some mods that weren't in use and tried again. This time I went in with a different approach. I took the spare worm and spec'd it all in health. This way I can tank more attacks while my dragon does most of the damage. Fight was going great. I was hurting him a lot, but the potion cooldown did me dirty. Then I crashed again for the 4th time tonight. Got back on at the same spot, and I feel like I'm in one of those movies where the character revives at the same location after every day or death until he accomplishes his goal. But at this point it's kind of cheating, so I won't use the death worm or dragon and go look for another one. Now I ended up finding a hydro Rex, so I tamed it and ended up running into a beta big bug while about to fight the boss. I managed to get my Bronto impregnated and went back to base. Got my dinos in order and tried to fight the boss again. This time it went smoothly. I had my dragon deal most of the damage, but left my Rex to tank and attack. Was able to kill it before my potion went away. However, when I checked my inventory, I didn't have any seeds, so it looks like I'll have to do it again. Then, of course, the dreaded crash. I just prayed I still had my Rex once I relogged, But honestly, I was done for the night after this one. When I got back on the next day, I didn't take on the boss, so I went to find another one and tried again. Beat him up in the first potion. This is def the way to go, and immediately saved the game after. I also got the fruit and seed this time, so that's a win-win. Then went immediately to the electric boss, which was right next to the volcanic boss. But I crashed. What's new? Got back on, then made a slow track back. Only difference is I saved each time. Then got to the boss, drunk a potion, but it wouldn't get attacked as he somehow got on my head. Had to circle around, losing about 10 seconds of the potion. Eventually the potion wore off, forcing me to use my backup too. Luckily, he was already low, so I only needed to take down a little bit of health. Eventually though, the potions wore off, it had a timer on it. My Rex got real low, and I was just praying one of the potion timers would go away. While I was focused, I guess my dragon was focused on attacking, because when I left the dino inventory, it was dead. So I missed his final moment, sadly. Then I crashed. Again, I don't remember saving, so I just hope I actually did. I load back up, and thankfully I saved after I killed the boss. Now I went back to base and cleared my map of bosses because I no longer needed them. Then made crop plots and did the only thing I could think of to fix the lag. I dino wiped. Now I can tame the next tier. I only had enough fruit for one kibble, so I went looking for a perfect tame. I remember getting attacked by a fairy wyvern, so I went looking for one I could actually tame. I unbolted the spear because the tranks don't get any stronger after mythic. So unless I can get an upgrade on my long neck, I'd be doing less than 10k torp on creatures with more than 1,000,000 torp. And it's actually kind of crazy because as I wrote that, I found a blueprinted long neck rifle. It still wasn't much, but it's better than nothing. So I shot a fairy wyvern out of the sky and stuck some kibble up its butt. Now it's just a waiting game for more fruits. Crafted a greenhouse, made an enlightenment broth, and respected my points into crafting so I can craft the blueprint long neck. Now I pray. I mean, I got 425, which is not the best, but definitely better than what I was using. Went resource gathering to make up for all the resource use. Spent some time unlocking my engrams and waiting for more crops while putting my crops in the greenhouse. Now it's time for resource gathering and dino taming. Just needing a shadow egg layer since I already got the fairy wyvern. Now while searching for a shadow creature, I ran into an ember claw dragon, which was super weak. I kept chomping on it just to see what would happen, and apparently something drops from it when you get it low enough. To my surprise, it's an egg. I'm about to hunt every ember claw I see now. I killed it, then picked up the egg, found a beautiful shadow broodmother just running amok in the swamps. I shot it down and tamed it. Best part was, it was an alpha, which means higher stats. I ran across the swamps on him for a while. A couple of cool things about it is it's fast as hell. It's strong as hell, but he gets caught on trees as much as I get caught sneaking cookies. So that's pretty damn awesome. Hatch the ember claw and watch it grow up while I move stuff around base. I plan on moving to a spot I find as it's getting kind of cluttered here. Tried to saddle my broodmother and of course it wasn't capable of it. Then took on the bosses again for the seeds, and this time with my shadow broodmother. And wow, he lights them up. It's actually kind of disgusting how good he is. Literally the same bosses that took me effort to defeat is just getting one spit on and getting their booty cheeks rocked. Got my seeds and now it's time to go resource gather. Need me some resource creatures first. Definitely an Enki at least. But then you guessed it, I crashed. I got in the habit of saving the game because of this, so I don't think I'll get sent back that much. When I got back on, I saw a shadow turkey right away. It's male, but I could make a gender swap potion to force it into a female egg layer. Before I did that, I tested it on a mythic Bronto. It's alright, but it has no special abilities. On my way back to base, I see another turkey, and this one is female. Now that kind of saves me a lot of time. Now I have a shadow and fairy egg layers, and can move up to mythic and legend. And at the end, finally, demonics. Waited a while for the egg to produce, cleared up some of my griffins because I have way too many, and my personal griffin I named Athena. Now the eggs were produced and I could start taming other egg layers. Tamed a mythic Enki for resources, then went resource gathering before getting an egg layer. With this Enki, I'll never have to worry about resources again. 2k from just one rock. So many crystals. The flint? Forget about it. Then got some egg laying dinos, a mystic Enki and a legendary 160 wyvern. Honestly, that one I did plan on using as an egg layer, but it's just such a high level, my conscience can't do it. So I tamed the legendary scorpion for eggs, but when I got to the egg layer collector, I can't put the scorpion inside. So back to the drawing board, and I remember knocking out a dillo a long time ago. So I put it on the tracker and hunt it down. Feed it some kibble and bam, now I got an egg layer. I can finally tame demonic. While I waited, I realized the boss I took on and defeated, their loot is gone, but my resources for crafting it was also gone, which kind of sucks. I did have enough for all 3 after I killed off my weak griffins, so I finished off the night by taking all 3 of the elemental bosses again, and one of them actually dropped a summoner token. Finally, I was wondering what these saddles were used for. Now I know. I call out the Hydro boss and tamed it. Then looking at what I needed for demonic kibble, I'm only missing primal bone. I'm gonna assume I get those from nightmare creatures. So I crafted a summoner just to see if it looked like the bone one I've been seeing around. It was not. Looks like I will have to go around and find me a bone creature. I spent an entire day searching around for bone dino. Finally, I found a primal resurrected trike. Luckily, it was stuck behind some trees for most of the day and night, eventually breaking free from its shackles, but I was keeping up with it due to the potions in my shoulder pad, but it just tanked so many hits. The fight literally lasted so long and eventually killed me. Luckily, I got back in time to save my creatures. I don't even know how he killed me, but when I got back, his health was still low. So I got ready, and this time I kept watch over mine and my dino stats. Eventually I noticed I was taking damage due to the heat. So I took a potion, and I realized something really cool. Any potion I take actually transfers to my tame. And when I take them, there's no potion timer for my dino. This is how I managed to survive. I kept taking the potions in intervals till I finally killed it. I tried to move away so my dinos didn't harvest the body, but oh well. I checked my Hydro boss's inventory and 53 bones. Now that's enough for a demonic. Also, I just realized I ain't named my Shadow Broodmother yet, and it's proved itself in this fight. So I named it Dark Knight. Went back to base, upgraded some armor, and then crafted some demonic kibble. I saw a max level Dillo, but for some reason Tranks didn't work, but arrows did. Arrows did like 2k of torps, so yeah, I'ma just try my luck with the spear. Placed down a TP and just kept going at it. This took a long time, but eventually I knocked it down and found another mating partner for it as well. Now I know where there are some demonic gorillas, so I'm gonna scope those out after putting these 2 to mate at base. But then I crashed, so yeah, you know what that means. Time to see where I last left off. Thankfully, it was literally right before I TP'd. Oh, thank the heavens. I did not want to have to use my pokey stick on another demonic Dillo. The next day I went searching for more demonics and came across a nightmare UT and a bone Carno. However, the demonics eluded me, at least till night came, and I see this beautiful thorny dragon begging me to be tamed. Shoot it with some darts. Thankfully it worked this time, and bing bong, it's mine now. Made some new armor, but I didn't have the weight belt, so I put on everything but the chest piece and took on the Carno bone boss. This fight was so much easier with a demonic thorny on my shoulder. Literally 1 potion is all it took. Got some more bones and went looking for more demonics while my Dillos mated. Tamed some penguins for organic poly and took on another primal Carno for his rock hard bone. Then tamed another demonic thorny, but both were males, which kind of sucked. Searched for more demonics but couldn't find any new ones, so I just AFK'd at base and let my dinos create me some eggs. Had enough Dillos to kill for hide and used my other one to take on a nightmare trike that I had summoned in previously. I got on my Dillo and soloed it with a thorny dragon on my shoulder. This was just a test to see how much damage it dealt versus how much I dealt. Turns out it deals around 100k damage, which to a demonic is like a tickle. My demonic Dillo has like 5 mil health, but it turned out to be super annoying with its pushback. Pushed me all the way back to base, so I panicked and ran and hoped it followed me. Thankfully it did and got stuck. So this fight was super easy, just very long. Once I killed it, I got this crazy demonic gorilla saddle. I'm talking like 673 defense and a max level potion. I also got some rockets and other things, but no use for me right now. I really need to find a gorilla to use a saddle on. So I went looking for it in the winter biome. I've seen 100 of its brethren spawn here, but not a demonic gorilla. Why can't it not spawn? Went around for a while looking, made a stop for a mythic theory and a volcanic boss. The boss dropped its tameable summons, which is dope. Not really needed right now, but hey, I got it. Maybe I'll cryo it and put it on display. Found a female thorny. Now I have a breeding pair and kept looking for my gorilla. Took on a primal wyvern boss because it looked interesting. Now I ran into a UT nightmare, so I slapped it around till it got trapped and then spent like 5 minutes just spamming it with attacks till it died. It gave me a bunch of saddles, 3 gorilla ones and 2 thornies. The thorny saddle isn't that bad. I even tested that saddle on a primal bone Carno, but died off my thorn. So when I came back, I perched on a rock so he could not look directly down at me, which is how I think he killed me the first time. But of course, the dreaded crash came, and honestly, I've been searching for this gorilla for hours. I killed every gorilla I could find to help the spawns, but why does it spawn the day I don't need it? It kills my strongest tame, setting me back, but now that I got tames on top of tames, it's nowhere to be seen. I'm not mad, I'm just tight. Crafted a grinder and finally had a way to get rid of all my useless junk, and it was so worth it. I got a ton of resources back and went ahead and crafted all the things I might need. Then ran into a Nightmare Raptor who I demolished. It even gave me some thorny saddles along with a Ferox saddle. Too bad I can't find any demonics other than a thorny and Dillos. Made a dedicated storage to store my organic poly and made an auto farm gatherer for cementing paste. Now the auto farm produces 1 every 60 seconds, so I guess if it was a server this would be useful, but since this is single player, I just wasted 1k cementing paste for this plus a bunch of resources to make the gatherer itself. Then I just went AFK. I honestly forgot what I was doing, but did this for a couple of days. By couple I mean like 9. When I came back to a ton of fertilized eggs, so I started to pop them out. Now the penguins got killed on spot for organic poly while I sorted through the demonics, named the Thorny, Cheech, and the Dillo Chong. Gave Cheech a max level potion and leveled up both to take on the rest of the nightmares. First up, the Carno. I was bodying it. Then I fell off a cliff and tried to avoid damage. I absentmindedly hopped off Cheech. This causes me to die, like one who has a brain would expect to happen while fighting a boss. So I spawned in, TP Cheech and Chong, and prepared to go back. Take that Carno's cheat. Now, for those of you who are uncultured and don't know who Cheech and Chong is, you can look it up. That Carno drops some really OP Dillo saddles. Like, this is dope. I'll probably use a couple of creatures to take on the final boss, so to be honest, these saddles will come in handy. Now, next up was the Reps, which dropped some Ferox and Reaper saddles. I haven't even seen those yet, so I don't know if they naturally spawn on this map. It was the Dodo Reaper's turn now. Popped a potion and went to work, and I mean work. This took so long. I had to keep healing myself because of the overheating and healing my Thorny because of the bleed. The Reaper took massive damage reduction, so I'm out here peppering him for ages. I had to start moving around to avoid the overheating because I didn't have enough potions for me and my Thorny. Literally did like 8k damage, but the bleed would take like 100k every second. So a day and night goes by, and then a new morning came and went. And honestly, I was super bored fighting this guy. It took ages and it wasn't even fun. I don't think I could make this fight fun even if I tried. In a world inhabited by dinos, one man stood against them all. His name was Slime. He took on the bosses one by one until he met his match with the Dodo Reaper. This son of a gun wouldn't let Slime take an easy win. He fought back hard. The fight lasted 2 days and 1 night. Slime chucking potions down his gullet, all so he can vanquish his foe. Till one day yeah. Even with narration, this fight is kind of boring, ain't it? So I'll just cut to the end and bing bong, he dead. He dropped crap loot. Now, last up was the cowardly Spino, who had me chase him across the map just to die by my hands. I now had every token for the final boss. I didn't have many potions though, so I decided to take a step back and relax by building up my new base, but I obviously can't go crazy with this since I already been crashing non-stop. So I build small but try to give it a little flavor. I enjoy the new ways of building. There's like a really nice feeling to having the ability to change walls into door frames or other variations, foundations into triangle ones, etc. Only having to carry one building material instead of 5 different variations makes building so much easier. There's a couple of bugs, but the rotation and snap changes are super easy. I gotta say, good job ASA. Now just fix the massive amount of bugs and poor optimization so that I can play this game without crashing like 10 times, please. And so I can build my massive bases that you know I love to do. Anyway, built near this little pond, made it into an open concept beach house kind of vibe. I did waste a lot of my crystals because all these walls are made from K Rustic greenhouse mod, so I'll probably have to go resource gathering eventually. One more run will be all I need for the rest of this playthrough though. But before I do, I did a run through on the snow biome hoping for a gorilla. Found one finally, but my tranks weren't doing jack, so I had to run up on him with my Poke Spear. But then I died and crashed. So yeah, I just hope that the demonic gorilla is still there when I get back on. But surprise, surprise, it wasn't. I even downloaded the Dino Finder mod and checked, but it's gone. How annoying. So I perched on a cliff for a while and just AFK. To start off my new day, I decided to tame a volcanic dragon and prepared to take on the last boss with what I had because I was kind of annoyed. I had the gorilla, but some ASA bull happens and I lose it. I'm positive I need this thing to take on the final boss, so it's literally just a waiting game for it to spawn. I mean, yeah, I could probably take on the boss without him, but I think it would be like the Reaper fight, just tedious and long. At least, that's what I think. But if I don't find it soon, I'ma rage. And then I crashed. Took me back to the start of day 80. So yeah, this is getting super annoying. I walked away for a while, and when I came back, Athena was dead, and so was I. Since I crashed, I just went resource gathering at the volcano, placed a TP, then went to town on the crystal. Went back to base to craft some potions, put all of my EXP potions into my dino's health, gave them some heals, placed them where I planned on fighting the boss, saved the game, and now it was time to finish this. Once I spawned in the big boss, this guy looked bad. He looked like he had been hit in the gym, brolic as hell. Worst part was he summoned in every other nightmare boss. He easily wiped the floor with my other creatures, but the best part was every nightmare you killed, it dropped what they normally do. Now, it wasn't a long fight, but it was a fun one. I guess I didn't need the demonic gorilla like I thought. It dropped a saddle for itself, so I guess you can actually get a tameable version of the final boss. I even got some nightmare health potions and some nightmare gear. Now the gear looks dope. It looks like I have a whole bunch of spears in my back, and I really did love this mod. It gave me like the Primal Fear vibes that I used to love, and I can't wait to see more from it. Thank y'all for watching, and let me know what you think of this mod in the comments.